special cameo guest appearance by the Honourable McKenna, Minister of Environment and Climate Change. So we're delighted to have a double shot here from the federal government. It is our 125th year with the Calgary Chamber. We're delighted that you are all joining us through those activities, and hopefully we're still contributing to the success of your business and making meaningful impact in that regard. We're firm believers in good process and wanting to make sure that the projects we have in front of us as a nation are given its due process and understanding. And I remember Minister Carr came about a few months ago earlier in the year and said we want to make sure a good process is in place, it's backed by good science and good decision making, and we fully support that, continue to support that, Minister Carr. I think we're all frustrated continually today. This is what happened in Montreal yesterday, that we want to make sure that the people who have the rights to provide feedback, both challenging and constructive, across, make sure we're making the right decisions for the interests of the country. But worried still that the fringe is starting to take control of that and made a significant impact to process. So, Minister, anything we can do to support a good, strong process in dealing with the decisions in front of the federal government, we are there to support you on that. We're pleased to host Minister Carr today as a joint effort between the Chamber and the Pearson Centre for Progressive Policy out of Toronto. We'll hear a little bit more about that from Andrew Cardozo and about what the Pearson Centre is all about. Events like today on how we help your business are only able to be done through the generous support of a number of companies and organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking our sponsors today: ATCO Limited, McKenna, TransCanada, Kinder Morgan Canada, Imperial, Enbridge, Shell Canada, RGO, and Purdy's. Ladies and gentlemen, our sponsors. Very quick introduction of our head table and special guests today. We have the Honourable James Carr, Federal Minister of Natural Resources; Iris Evans, former MLA of Sherwood Park and Minister of the Alberta Government; Andrew Cardozo, Executive Director with the Pearson Centre for Progressive Policy; Russ Girling, President and CEO of TransCanada Corporation; Brenda Kenny, Vice President of Climate Change and Emissions Management Corporation; Ian MacGregor, Chairman of the Board and CEO of Northwest Upgrading; and Audrey Mascarhenas, President and CEO of Questor Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, a number of other special guests in the room, as I mentioned earlier: Honourable McKenna, Minister of Environment and Climate Change; MP of Calgary Skyview, Darshan Kang; MLA Calgary Mountain View and leader of the Alberta Liberal Party, Dr. David Swan; MLA Calgary Nose Hill, Karen McPherson; MLA Calgary Shaw, Graham Suka; MLA Calgary Glenmore, Adam Kazim; Councillor for Ward 9, City of Calgary, Evan Woolley; U.S. Consul General Tom Palaya; Norm Green, past chair of the Calgary Chamber of Commerce; Bill Kaufman, past general manager; and Murray Sigler, past president of the Calgary Chamber; and two current board members, Brent Cooper, partner with McLeod Law, and Phil Roberts, president of Entry Technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, that should round out the rest of our good special guests for today. Back up to the fall event season, so please mark your calendars. Thursday, September 8th, we have the Alberta Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, O'Neill Collier, and Alberta Minister of Municipal Affairs and Service Alberta, Honourable Daniel Larrabee, Wednesday, September 14th. So, as per our normal standards, please ensure your cell phones are silent or vibrate, but if you wish to continue the conversation digitally, our handle on Twitter is @Calgary Chamber. And now my pleasure to introduce Andrew Cardozo, the Executive Director of the Pearson Centre for Progressive Policy. Andrew.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you to the wonderful staff at the Chamber that have helped organize this event. You really have a tremendous team here. I just want to also shout out to Darshan Kang, Member of Parliament for Calgary Skyview, and also Monty Solberg, a Senior Minister in the previous government, who I had the chance to work with quite a few times over the years. A couple of words about the Pearson Centre. The Pearson Centre was formed in 2013. We're a progressive or centrist think tank that addresses a range of economic, social, environmental, and international issues. The chair of our Economy for Tomorrow series is here, Sandra Gobatello, who's a former senior minister in Ontario, a global affairs advisor with BWC Canada. And in her previous roles as a minister, she got a chance to work with Iris Evans over various portfolios, and they helped us this connection that goes back a few years is part of why we've got a great event today. I also want to recognize a couple of our advisory board members who are here: David Swan from Calgary and Brian Gold from the University of Alberta in Edmonton. So today's session is a key part of the Pearson Center's Economy for Tomorrow series. What we're looking at is a number of particular aspects of the economy. The series was launched with the Innovation Minister in a session in Toronto back in March. We've had a couple of other sessions and more planned in the next while that drill down and deal with the specific aspects of public policy. So based on the fact that the success of the energy industry is key to the success of the Canadian economy, we felt today's session was extremely important. And in my discussions with Minister Carr's office in having an event on energy, they picked this time and this place to have today's event. I've got to say on the timing, I thought the end of August was not a good time, but the choice was now or October because the Minister has the House of International Travel, and I thought better now than later, so better sooner than later. So my discussions with the Chamber, we thought, well, end of August, let's see if we can get about 100 people into the room and hopefully they'll be happy. So it's wonderful that there's over 300 people here, I think, for a very topical and important issue. So I just want to do very short intros of our two ministers to go beyond the bio that's on your table and to give you a little more insight into them as individuals. I happen to be a resident in Ottawa Centre, which is the riding of the Honourable Catherine McKenna. I'll just tell you one thing about her. She is a competitive swimmer. And I think that the characteristics that she's developed in that role transfer over to her role as a politician, as a minister, and a government administrator. She's sort of like that, the marathon runner who just has to run that extra mile. In her case, swim the extra lap, meet that one more constituent, get that one more goal in environmental policy, or in Paris, get that one more economic development goal. And it's always about taking what we can get and then pushing one step further. She's sort of legendary in terms of her canvassing because she usually tires everybody else who goes canvassing with her. And I think that's the kind of energy that she brings to this field. Minister Jim Carr, I think understands very well the connection between the economy and the social policies that government has to deal with. He is, as you may know, the founding CEO of the Manitoba Business Council and was there for about 20 years. I'll just tell you one example. When we were setting up the Pearson Centre about 4 years ago, I was at a gathering in Winnipeg, and there were a group of people. We asked them about their thoughts and told them what we were planning to do. The one example I'll share with you with regards to Minister Carr was that he listened for a while, let everybody else ask a lot of questions, and towards the end, he asked a few very probing questions about our objectives and then about the business case. How are we going to make this work? So I think what you have is a minister who listens. He's a great listener. He asks probing questions, so be prepared if you're meeting with him. And then he takes a clear position. And I think that's the kind of strength that he'll be bringing to this role. I want to tell you that these two ministers are charged with two very important issues: energy, natural resources, and the environment. They work closely together because that is the mandate being given by the Prime Minister. That's what is expected of them of Canadian society. And I think they really work on the twin responsibilities of economic development and environmental sustainability. With that, I'll ask the Honourable Catherine McKenna to come to the stage.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Andrew. I'm thrilled to be here as someone who ran an organization called the BAM Forum many moons ago. I think I see some BAMFers here. It's just so important that we have progressive institutes that come bring people together, different political affiliations to talk about key issues, and I couldn't imagine a more important issue than the topic today. I wanted to do a shout out. This is the Pearson Centre. I understand it's your first event in Calgary, which is great. And Sandra Kupatella is helping out with the Economy for Tomorrow series, which is going to be very interesting. I'm following it closely. Thanks, Adam. Thanks to the Chamber. Thrilled to be here. I've had a strong tie to Alberta. My family, my in-laws are from Alberta. I've been here a number of times since I've been elected. We did our retreat in Kananaskis. You might have seen that. Meetings with industry in Calgary. as well as in Edmonton, and I even chose Banff as our family March break destination. I was with some family from Alberta this summer, and they were talking about how challenging it is. And we hear that, and we're listening, and we recognize that we only do well if every province and everyone does well. So we are here with you. We want to work together with you. We are working together very closely with you. And the rapid, dramatic decline in commodity prices is a challenge for all of us. It's a challenge for you individually. It's a challenge for your companies. It's a challenge for the provincial government. It's a challenge for the federal government. And we take it very seriously. And as I say, we want Alberta to succeed, and we're going to work with you to ensure that happens. I've always been so impressed by the resilience of Albertans. You guys are innovative, you're tough, whether it's ups and downs of the markets, or it's flooding, or forest fires. You guys get up, you pull yourself together, and you just go on again, and you innovate, and you do it even better. So I'm looking forward to, I know it's a tough time now, but I already see the resilience. And I will say Ottawa, so Ottawa had a big fundraiser for Fort McMurray that I was involved with. We raised over $130,000, just to show you we're working. Alors, notre gouvernement sait que l'économie et l'environnement vont ensemble. La seule façon que le Canada va acheminer ses ressources au marché au 21e siècle est de montrer que nous le faisons de manière durable. Cela veut dire que nous voulons montrer que le Canada a un plan crédible pour combattre le changement climatique. The economy and the environment go together. They have to go together. And we need to show that we're serious, both in terms of doing what we need to do to tackle climate change, and also, and especially because that will help us get our resources to market. And that's not just a slogan. When I go abroad, I often hear big companies who say, wow, it's great to see Alberta standing up with a credible climate plan. And that's not just talk. I worked as a corporate lawyer here in Canada. I also worked as a corporate lawyer in Indonesia. These relationships, showing leadership, actually opens doors. And it's good, so it's good for business. And I'll give you a practical example, a recent example. The Canada-European Union Free Trade Agreement. It really was lagging a bit. It wasn't going anywhere. And when we came to power, it was a priority for our government because we believe that free trade is critical. And we were able to get the talks back on track. And in large part, and this is not coming from me, this is coming from my colleague, Minister Freeland, she said it was because we were serious about climate change, we were serious about the environment. So that the European Union was able to make the case that this was a good deal. That they had a partner in Canada that was serious about trade, but also serious about the environment. So there really are real dividends. I'm really excited that I am now, as Prime Minister, as you know, is in China. I've been asked to, by the Chinese government to be the Vice Chair of the the China Council for International Cooperation and Development. I'm going there for meetings in December, and I'm going to bring Canadian companies and highlight Canadian companies that are innovative in the clean tech space. And by clean tech isn't just renewables. Clean tech, and I was saying that to a number of companies this morning, I mean, it's providing clean solutions in all sorts of areas. We need all the solutions. We need it in oil and gas. We need it in renewables. We need more energy efficient buildings. We need to be doing more in terms of vehicles. We know this. I look at the chart where our emissions are coming from, and we need to figure this out, and we need to do it together. So the bottom line is, it's great that people think that we're doing our part, but now we've got to deliver. So I've been working extremely hard, extremely closely with Minister Carr, but also with other ministers, including the Minister of Finance or Minister of Innovation, and really across government, because every portfolio is involved when it comes to looking at how we're going to not just reduce emissions, but also grow our economy and move towards a cleaner future. And I've been really impressed, and I have to thank so many of you here. I could ask you to lift up your hands, but I don't want to embarrass you. But many of you have provided submissions to our working group process. Many of you have said what you think is important, what you would like to see as part of the climate plan, and they're very constructive solutions. And when I first got this job, a lot of people said, well, why don't you just come up with a target? And I said, I'm done with Canada having targets. Let's have a plan. Let's actually have a serious plan. Let's listen to everyone. Let's get the best ideas, and let's figure out how we're going to move forward in a credible way so that when we actually have a target, we have a plan to get there. And that's the pragmatic approach our government is taking to the climate piece. And we also see this to in the energy piece. They're both linked. And we really do need to get this right. I was really excited in July to be doing an event with Mark Carney. So it was just like this, it was just he and I sitting on stage 1 week after Brexit. So it was I think people were pretty amazed with the Toronto Board of Trade that we sold out, it was over 600 people, to hear him talk about climate change. And why was he doing this? The governor of the Bank of England, former governor of the Bank of Canada, thinks that this is both a very significant risk and a significant opportunity. And he thinks that Canada needs to be part of that opportunity, part of the $30 trillion market for clean tech solutions in China. That we really need to get out there, and we also need to be doing the part, obviously, for the future of our children. I have 3 children, but also for future generations. We need to position ourselves well. Right after that meeting, I had a meeting with major Canadian companies who signed up to Canada's Carbon Pricing Leadership Coalition. I was very proud. Who in the room is part of the Carbon Pricing Leadership Coalition? Number of major Canadian companies, energy companies. We've got Shell, we've got Suncor, we've got Enbridge, Teck, as well as 5 big banks who have said carbon pricing is part of the solution. It's a market-based approach where it doesn't discriminate. It's as if you pollute less, you will pay less. And it allows companies to figure out what is the best way to reduce their emissions in a low-cost way and innovate. And this is the kind of thing that demonstrates that we're all in this together, folks. We're all going to be, coming together and figuring out what is the path forward. There are low-hanging fruit that we can be reducing our emissions and also positioning us well. I've also spent the summer crisscrossing the country. I've been meeting with premiers. I've been meeting with my counterparts, ministers of the environment from all the provinces and territories, sometimes in groups. So I met with the Atlantic ministers, I met with the territories, but also all of them individually. Because as much as we're going to have a pan-Canadian plan, every province and territory is different. There are different profiles of emissions, there are different challenges and different opportunities, and we need to be very thoughtful. And so those discussions have been going very well, and it's very constructive. And what's great to see, for the first time, everyone is saying, all the premiers have said with the Prime Minister that we are serious about tackling climate change. We recognize that we need to meet our international obligations, our target, and we're going to work together to get there. So we're now finishing up the working group process. If you have submissions, please get them in now. Run home after this and finalize them. Because we are then going to be looking at what are the serious measures that we should be taking. Carbon pricing is one of those measures. But there are a number of other measures that just make sense and that will position us well. But that's it. You're not here to hear me talk. You're here to hear my amazing colleague. I feel very, very fortunate to be working with Jim Carr. He's a man of great integrity. He's a great colleague. We spend a lot of time talking together. You've probably never seen a minister, someone who's working on environmental files, working with someone working on natural resource files as closely as you would see us working together. Because we get it. We get that the environment and the economy go together, and we need to get this right. We stood hand in hand. Hand in hand, it's a bit sketchy. We were together in, I think it was in February. Was it in February? January. Oh, January 27th. That's how good it is. You noticed it. January 27th, when we announced interim principles for environmental assessments. Because we know to get resources to market, people have to have trust. That's going to be really critical, and we're working really hard on that. And we're doing this together. One thing you might not know about about Jim. You've probably seen his bio. He's got an amazing bio. I don't know if it made it into the bio, but he played classical oboe with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra. So